of Chicago Bulls Central. And on this one, it's a pregame show. The Bulls face the New Orleans Pelicans tonight. We're going to talk about it, break it down, have some fun in this motherfucker like we always do. But first, got to get into the intro.
You are now tuned in to Chicago Bulls Central, your number one place for all Chicago Bulls news and content.
What's going on, Bulls fans? Hey, the Bulls face the Pelicans tonight, and this is going to be a very, very interesting game. And I say that because the Bulls' interior defense, as we know, is not the best. The Pelicans are coming off a 2-game losing streak, so I'm sure they're going to be firing on all cylinders. Now, the Bulls do play at home. The Pelicans' defense is highly questionable at times, especially during crunch times of games, so hopefully that helps the Bulls out in those areas. But I tell you what, this is not a game that I'm necessarily going into thinking is going to be a cakewalk. The Bulls are going to have to execute very well on both sides of the ball to have a chance in this one, and they're going to have to play tough. They're going to have to play focused on the offensive and defensive end of the ball. They're going to have to use a similar game plan to what they used in that last game against Toronto, just really not letting the Pelicans' defense set up, and we'll see what they can do. We'll see what they can do. Jordan Love says we need this win. Absolutely. We need all of the wins we can get. You're early today. Not really. I usually always go about an hour 30 minutes before the game. So I started, I guess, technically a little early. It is what it is. Like, let's have some time between now and the game. P. Will dropping 15 tonight. Drummond double-double. Well, keep in mind, P. Will's going to be guarding Zion most of this game. So this is the game that I'm not really expecting much from P. Will offensively. Now, if he chips in 15, so be it. But I'm more so with him focused on his defensive matchup because he's going to have to expound a lot of energy on the defensive end of the ball. Really, when you look at it, outside of Drummond in the sense of stopping Zion from penetrating, but it's really going to be Patrick Williams. Patrick Williams probably going to have to play every minute that Zion's in the game tonight. So I don't know how much of the offensive side we're going to get from Patrick Williams in this game, even though he's been really solid offensively, really aggressive offensively, I should say, is the word I should use. But his defense has been top-notch lately. We're going to need every bit of that against Zion Williamson tonight. Emmanuel says, what up, Haize? What's going on, brother? Jordan Love, is Zion playing tonight? He's not listed on the injury report right now. So all signs point to yes. CJ McCollum tends to have good games against the Bulls. Hope they clamp them up hard defensively. Caruso and Ayo are going to have to work this game. Absolutely going to have to work. And I like Caruso in last game only taking 2 shots. His shooting's been hurting the Bulls. And this is another game, like I kind of said with P. Will, he's going to have to expound a lot of energy on the defensive side of the ball. When you look at CJ McCollum and Jose Alvarado as well, who, while not having the biggest impact this season, only averaging 8 points per game, keep in mind, he basically earned his contract against the Chicago Bulls last season. In a lot of ways, just completely, I can't remember the game or what his exact output was, but I know he was killing us down the stretch of a game last season. So yeah, 15 in one game against us last season, and that was it. Was that it? Why did it feel like it was more than that? Still, the Bulls gonna have to lock in big time. Jamal in the building says, what's good, bro? Who do you think will be the highest scored? And I have no idea. I have to see the defense, right? Because you have to look at it this way. Whoever they put Herb Jones on is probably going to be the one that doesn't score as much. Now, they could leave him on DeMar. They could switch him on Zach. They could go back and forth between on who gets hot. Herb Jones is going to have his work cut out for him as well. I think I'm going to say this. I don't think Vooch, well, this may be a game where Vooch gets us 28-30. This may be that type of game. I believe Ayo can definitely Ayo has the capability to. That doesn't mean he necessarily will. What's up, son? What are you letting the dog in here for?
I ain't letting him in.
Oh, that's not my son. What's up, baby girl? I don't know yet. Why? Call the dog, please. Get Mutt. Always something with these children. Remember, CJ? Here you go. Here you go with the remember. You be tripping on that one. Bro, I feel like Jackson Haize is going to have a big game tonight for the Pels for some reason. I mean, listen, the Bulls always tend to let a role player go off. So in that sense, I mean, it's definitely possible. But Jackson Haize is having a terrible season. Like, let's be clear here. Jackson Haize is having a terrible season. So he's played in 5 games so far this season. He's only averaged 7.4 minutes per game. Now, he's going to play more than that with Larry Nance being out. But he's shooting the ball 20% from the field, 0% from three-point range. He's only averaging 1 rebound. He's not playing good this season. He has a PER of 0.68. So he could very well get on track, right? All that being said, that sounds like the type of player who would literally torch the Bulls. Like, that's just the way it goes sometimes for the Bulls, man. We always let a role player get off. Don't you raise your voice at baby girl. Listen, I'll do whatever the hell I want to do. Stacey K. Who's Stacey K? Look, Shay. If you using the voice to speech or whatever you using, I need you to type it out, brother. Because your typos lately have been legendary. But he says Stacey King said it one time. We played against Zion, make him play defense. Yeah, I mean, but that's every major player in the league. Like, you have to play well enough to make them play defense. And if you do that, Zion has had some lapses defensively so far this season. And we'll see. The New Orleans Pelicans aren't the best defensive team at all. They come in 500 just like us. We're 6-6. They're 5-5. I mean, this is definitely a winnable game. The thing that makes this the biggest concern for the Bulls is that where the Pelicans are strong at is kind of where the Bulls are weak at in a lot of different ways. So we'll see how it comes along. We'll see, and hopefully it's okay. Hopefully it works out in our favor. The Pelicans are shooting so far this season. They are shooting 38% from three-point range. That's not Zion Williamson is shooting 40% from 3 this season. What? He's had to only make 1. He's had to only make 1. That's wild. He's made 2. He's 2 for 5 so far this season from three-point range. That's crazy. Watch this be a game where Zion goes off like 5 3-pointers. Melvin in the building says, last question, do you think we'll ever see Marco get any minutes? If not, he's that bad to not get minutes. I just feel we're not going to play him, then no use to keep him. Well, keep in mind, he has a contract. So this isn't the NFL where you can just cut anybody. This contract's fully guaranteed. Next season is partially guaranteed, but even then, with his age, he's what, 22? I think he's another 22-year-old on this team. They're not going to cut him. Now, with that being said, right, there have been players that don't get on the floor the first couple of years that don't necessarily turn into superstars, but they can turn into rotational pieces. We'll see with Marco. At the end of the day, whatever Marco's not doing to keep him off the floor, I mean, I just don't know I've always said I don't know what he's going to gain from the G League at this point. To me, in my opinion, even with him not necessarily playing the best, I think he benefits the most from actual playing some NBA games. Like, that's just my opinion. Could be completely wrong on that. We'll see how it ends up working out. But yeah, Marco's just such a weird case, man. While Nance is out, they're going to have some real problems now because he definitely gives their bench a boost. So does Jackson Haize. Well, he could. All I can do is watch Bulls games because I dislocated my knee. Well, hell, like, rest up, watch some Bulls games, give us some of that energy so that we can win. I mean, sometimes this is how it is, brother. Like, I understand, y'all. I don't know if y'all remember last season when I was on death's door, when I lost 30 pounds in 12 days because of how sick I was. Hey, listen, sometimes Bulls games are good to kind of get you up out of that mindset, get you looking at something a little different. Damn, Marco hasn't played good the last game he only scored 8 points in 20-something minutes. Come on, Marco, bro. I need more than that. How do you do the game before that? Sorry, y'all. I'm just trying to take a look at what Marco Simonovic is doing down in the G League. 11 points, 5 for 14 in the second. Yeah, Marco got to get his shit together, bro. MJG23 says, homesick from work today. Let's go, Bulls. Absolutely, absolutely. Steve-O says, yeah, he probably only shot 2 for 5 from Zion Williamson from the three-point range so far this season. If you were Billy Donovan, would you look to play Dell and Terry? Shay, what you doing, bro? Shay, what are you doing? What are you doing? What is happening with these typos, brother? What is really happening out here? Anyway, would you look to play Dalen Terry these games that Kobe White is out? That way, if we're ready to trade White, Terry would be ready. Well, I think I've said this before. I've gone on record on a lot of episodes this season so far. I think that Dalen Terry should be playing some minutes every game. Whether it is just if you just say, hey, at the very least, we're going to get you a 4 to 6 minute stretch if you play well every single game to kind of build that confidence, build just getting him used to the speed of the NBA game. That's what I would do if I was the coach. But they pay people a lot. Supposed to be smarter than me to make these decisions. Brandon L. Jet in the building says, hello, Haize and chat. What's going on, Brandon? It's a different feel when it's a Bulls game day. I won't lie. I'm in a really good mood. I can't wait to see the Bulls play tonight, no matter what this game ends up turning into or not into or whatever it ends up being. But it's going to be really, really interesting game, man. Chip and Dale and Terry. That's funny. Listen, Shay gonna curse me out one day, bro. Shay gonna curse me the fuck out. I have to throw Shay some shit, man. I really do. That's my dude, though. That's my dude. Looking in this game, right? The one thing that I want to say with this game with the Chicago Bulls tonight that I need more than anything is I need Javonte Green to have a big game. I want to see Javonte just have that game where he just goes off. What was it, a couple games ago? He was 7 for 7 from the field. I need Javonte to have another game like that. 'Cause it's just different, right? Especially at home in Chicago. When Woo gets going in Chicago, it's a different feel, right? It's a complete you can feel him get that crowd energized big time. That's what I hope to see. I don't know if it'll happen. But that's what I hope to see. I hope Javonte has another big game today. And even with Andre Drummond being back, it's still going to be highly important for Derrick Jones Jr. to have a big night as well. And that by big night, I don't mean scoring. I mean just the way that he impacts the game with his energy and everything like that. Need him to have a big one as well. Do you believe every team going to play DeMar DeRozan the same way now? No, because not every team has the capability of doing that. It wasn't necessarily just the double team, right? I need people to realize that. It wasn't just the double team that made DeMar be not have his usual impact. It was the combination of the length that the Toronto Raptors have at every position. Not every team has that. So, no, that's not a blueprint that I think every team – because if you just double DeMar, but you don't have the length to still cover the passing lanes like the Toronto Raptors do, it's not going to be as successful. So, I don't think that that's going to be a blueprint that every team may try it, especially in crunch time, but they're not going to try to do it the whole game long like Toronto did. James Jameson, I'm late. What's good, Haize? You're only a few minutes late, though. Less than 15 minutes. What's going on there, brother? 8 lives. Yes, Javonte, I was just thinking that because he may have to stick Zion. Well, outside of just the Zion of it all, I just mean by the fact that when Javonte has big games, whether it be defensively, whether it be offensively, whatever it is, the energy that brings to not only the team but the crowd, especially at home, it just adds a whole nother dynamic to the game. So I hope to see him do that. If a big trade comes up and we trade all 5 Javontes or keep some of them, do all 5 Javontes count against the cap? Somebody asked Stacey Kane. Y'all are killing it. Oh, man. Green and Gordon and DJJ has to be huge this game. Very much needed. Also, Alex. Yeah, but in a different way. You just basically said the bench. The bench needs to have a big night. Yes, they need to have a big night. But it's like I think with each one of those players is they bring all something different. The way that Gordon runs that offense and shoots the ball. But not only now, we're seeing Gordon get to the lane, right? Like put the ball on the floor. It's not like he has a fast first step or anything, but it's just the way that he moves out there. And Derrick Jones Jr., just the energy that he brings, the blocks, the deflections, the just making players change their shot a little bit. And, of course, the dunks, which we got a lot of last game. And then Alex Caruso just needs to be that defensive marvel that he can be, and get steals, get in those passing lanes. That's what we need to see. I love how each one of those players, and then I add in Andre Drummond as well with rebounds playing in this game. That's what changes the game for the Bulls, and the bench. Like, the bench is such a key part in what we do. Yeah. All right, let's move on. Good thing we have 5 Javantes out there. I hope they all show up tonight. They will. Steve-O Speaks, my little brother from another mother, says, I want to see us work inside out as a game plan for the next few games. I feel like play through Vooch inside out could work and can be hard to defend for other teams. Absolutely. Playing inside out is a recipe for success in basketball. If you have the big that can score, that has a post game, that also has a great passing game, that is the recipe for basketball, period. If you are a basketball coach, whether it's minors, whether it's high school, whether whatever it is, if you have a big that can shoot, that can score on the post, that can pass, that can get out to the mid-range a little bit, it always is going to bowl well and do a little bit better if you can play inside out, because it allows everybody else off the ball to do so much more. When your focal point of and this is why, like, the Bulls were so dangerous once they started playing through Joakim Noah, right? Once they started and they realized, hey, no, we can use Joe as a point forward. It made Derek more dangerous. It made Jimmy Butler way more dangerous. We saw Jimmy Butler really take up his game offensively, coincide with Joakim Noah doing more of the playmaking and ball handling. Well, not really ball handling. Joe wasn't crossing nobody up, but you guys know what I mean. But you saw it then, and that's it. Just makes, if you have slashes, if you have people that move without the ball, if you have people that create space, and God forbid you have shooters on top of all those, playing inside out with bigs is something that a lot of teams just can't guard. It just makes it so, it makes the place where the scoring can come from, it can be all over the court. When you're working from the inside and everybody's cutting, moving without the ball, it just makes so much danger. You have to spread out your defense at that point. You can't zero in on any one player. And that's what makes that version of the game, that's what makes that play style such a dangerous play style. And hopefully the Bulls do that. They've done it at times this season. They've gotten away from it at certain times as well. Vooch has been playing pretty good throughout this whole season. He had some up and down games, but I really would love to see that. Bulls by 10 tonight. Remember, I said that's from Jay Glover. Man, I hate that Alvarado Grand Theft Auto move, but somebody just showed me him doing it to LeBron, and I loved it. Oh, yeah. I mean, Alvarado he got some skill. Pat and Zion will battle today. I expect Pat to have a big game defensively and possibly offensively. We see a battle between the two of them. I mean, that would be such an interesting thing down the stretch if this turns into Pat versus Zion, right? They're not necessarily saying that Pat is going to like run this offense through Pat, but if it just comes to like they're trying to get a bucket and crunch and Pat is just like, hey, Zion, you're going to have to kill me to score on me. That's going to be such an interesting and fun thing to watch. Real talk. Shay in the building. I don't know why, but every time I see Herb Jones play, that makes me excited for Dalen Terry in about 3 years. That is a great, great point. Like, Dalen Terry is kind of a Herb Jones with a higher offensive upside. Way higher offensive upside than Herb Jones. And Herb Jones is still what? I think Herb Jones is averaging double-digit points. Is he averaging 10 points? Yeah, let's see. Let's go into it. Let's take a look. I don't like to always just talk out the side of my neck. I like to actually look at these numbers. I think I remember everything. Yeah, Herb Jones is averaging 10 points per game, 3.7 rebounds, and 2 assists. Now, his efficiency rating isn't the best. It's only 10.34. And that's, you know what? That is a perfect segue into have a conversation with why this is, again, points to why Bulls fans need to back the fuck up off Patrick Williams. Because, and I get it. People are going to say, and I know somebody's already typing it, well, Herb Jones wasn't a 4th overall pick. Yeah, no shit. But at the end of the day, when you're a basketball player, you're on the court, you're expected to perform. And Herb Jones, Bulls fans loud Herb Jones, like, oh, I'd trade P. Will for Herb Jones. I had 3 voicemails on that this summer. They literally are basically having the same exact goddamn numbers. with P. Will actually being better defensively. So let's run this down. Herb Jones, 10 points per game, 3.7 rebounds, 2 assists with a PER of 10.34. He's shooting the three ball at a 32% clip. Overall from the field, 47% from the field. He's averaging 0.8 blocks per game. Patrick Williams, on the other hand, he's 9 points per game exactly, 3.7 rebounds, 0.8 assists, a PER of 10, which it was like a 6 to begin the season. His shooting splits 44% from the field, 34% from three-point range. He's also chipping in right at a block a game and a steal per game. I get it. He was the 4th overall pick. I understand that so many people will think that because he was the 4th overall pick, it means he needs to be averaging 18 and 8 and 6. But at the end of the day, his role on this team is not much different from Herb Jones's role with the Pelicans. Patrick Williams is out there to be a defender first, and he needs to take his shots that come in the nature of the offense confidently. He needs to rebound the ball well and go up for putbacks. We're starting to see Patrick Williams do those type of things. Like, seriously. Some of y'all got to chill on P. Will, man. Chi-Town Javier, hey, with the super chat. Thank you, brother. He says, Haize, what's going on, man? Let's get a dub tonight. Couldn't have said it any better myself. Alvarado is mini Caruso. He's not the defender Caruso is. Let's be clear here. He is not the defender Caruso is. Talk out the side of my neck is a new one. I'm from St. Louis, brother. Not from. I lived in St. Louis a long time. That's a St. Louis. I say so much St. Louis shit that I think it goes over people's heads sometimes if you haven't been to St. Louis. Like even me saying all the time, that's deep. That's a St. Louis thing. Like people in St. Louis, when they don't know what else to say, literally they'll just say that's deep. Or they'll say something stupid. Like some people in St. Louis say some stupid shit too, like my dammy. What the fuck is my dammy? What the fuck does that mean? I have no idea. I lived there for 12 years and still have no fucking idea what that means. And then people from St. Louis call a sink a zinc. When I first moved to St. Louis, and motherfuckers was like, oh yeah, just throw it in the zinc. What the fuck are you talking about? We talking about the periodic table here, motherfucker? I didn't come here to think. Anyway, I'm sorry. That's my little rant about St. Louis. Wait a minute. You laughed at me when I told you that he's similar in comparison to Herb Jones. No, because Patrick Williams' upside is way higher than Herb Jones. I'm talking strictly about the people who sit there and will say, oh, we need a Herb Jones on this team, and then say in the same breath, we need to trade Patrick Williams. That's what I'm talking about specifically. I finally got the perfect mailbag question for you, Haize. Thanks. Oh, shit. I don't know what the hell this is going to get into. Herb Jones for P. Will. God, what some idiots. Listen, I love Bulls Nation, but Lord knows they be tripping. What do you think the Bulls record will be at the end of the season? What CD? Look, it's way too early for this, bro. We're 12 games into the season, and out of those games, we've only had Zach LaVine for 7 of them. Andre Drummond's been missing for 6. Lonzo Ball's probably coming back in the mid-season. I have no idea what our record's going to be right now, brother. None. I'm not even going to go down that rabbit hole. I have no idea. I would love to have a feeling on it, but I really don't. It can go a lot of different ways right now for them. Zachary says, P. Will's dropping 15. Hey, listen, I wouldn't be mad at it. STL needed an NBA team. No, listen, St. Louis didn't even support an NFL team that won a Super Bowl while being insane. I'll tell you this, right? And people know I left St. Louis because I hate that city. I don't hate it as much as Cleveland, but it's just a boring-ass city. But St. Louis is a Cardinals town, and that's it. They would not support an NBA team at all. I can tell you that right now. They'll say a lot of rah-rah shit. St. Louis is probably never getting an NBA team because they aren't a team that really, unless they win. Like if you were able to transport a championship level team right to St. Louis and them still be championship level, they'll support it all day long. But to go through the process of building, they will not support it. And that's why the Cardinals, if you know, they always kind of stay in contention a little bit. Always. Because the moment that the St. Louis Cardinals, if they were ever to have 5-6 seasons in a row of just not being good, that city would turn on them. And the Cardinals are St. Louis. So they know what they have to do. St. Louis is just not a city that is built for the up and down rigors of professional sports. They're just not. Even the Blues. I ran the Blues Stadium for a long time. I actually was the general manager of that stadium. I ran it for a long time. They support that for the most part, right? But when the Blues were bad, that motherfucking building was empty as shit. So it's just not, they don't have the support of it like you would think. Do you hear what those guys on ESPN was saying about the Chicago Bulls? I don't know what the show called, but you can tell they don't check any of the Bulls games. I don't listen. I don't go to, and this is a little peek behind the curtain. I do not go to the ESPN for any coverage on any of my teams. I go to people like CHGO. I go to people like the Bulls Show with Aiden. I go to places like the Windy City Breeze. I go to places like Marcus Couch. I go to places with the people who are passionate about it, because guess what? Unless Chicago, if the Bulls were a championship level team, then I know they would pay attention, because they would have to. The Derrick Rose era, they had some pretty good coverage on the Bulls. You know why? Because they had Derrick Rose. But that's it. Like, I don't go to ESPN. I don't go to any major outlets for my sports coverage. I just don't. Like, for my teams, I just don't, because they suck. They suck ass. So I just don't do it. Ringo said they called Goran Gorgie when he was in Miami. That is country. Will Levine take advantage of DeMar doubles and be the superstar we need him to be? I mean, yeah, he will. He's still working himself into rhythm, but yes, Zach is going to be good. I'm telling you guys, Zach is going to be good. Zachary says, I need that See Red, Don't Be Red outro back. My outros, if you notice, like, lately I've been doing this thing where it's how I've been doing the outros lately. I throw in See Red, but I don't say the Don't Be Red. That the Don't See Red, Don't Be Red thing came up because that was while the Bulls were in the middle of a losing streak, and Bulls fans were just, oh my God, the sky is falling. Oh my God, we should have never signed DeMar. Oh my God, like all of that shit. So it was like, hey man, don't be red. Y'all got to chill out. Like, I'm sure it'll come back at some point. Just sliding through. How was your day, Haize? I'm doing good, MC Season. How are you, brother? Most people from St. Louis are Bulls fans. Listen, I'm not from St. Louis, right? I just lived there for 12 years. But I'll say this. Basketball, there actually were quite a bit, surprisingly, of Cleveland Cavaliers fans in St. Louis as well. But I think a lot of our Bulls fans too, but it's not as much as you probably think. Only thing in St. Louis is that No. Now I will say this. They have the Arch, which is cool. Now we got Ballpark Village, which if you've never been to St. Louis since they built Ballpark Village, there is not a single better way to go about drinking in the city of St. Louis. Like, there's literally the big main bar, and then there's like 10, 12 other little bars, specialty bars, microbreweries, all in this one building. Restaurants, like, it's amazing. Ballpark Village we got. We also got Joey B's, which is the place that has a wall of 150 different types of shots. Do that. We got Lumiere Casino. That's actually dope sometimes as well. And then Bottoms Up. And I'll leave y'all figure out what Bottoms Up is. I'm going to leave it there. You were the general manager of... No, I was the general manager of the stadium, not the team, the stadium. Meaning that I ran like the food and beverage operations, the club operations. I ran everything there. I was of the stadium, not of the team. Not of the team. People better put his big boy pants on. He got to be ready. Got to be ready. That shit was funny. Shout out to Brazil. What's going on, Gabriel? Shout out to Brazil, brother. You definitely should do a Chicago meetup. This channel is dope. You know what? I don't know if it'll be something we can do this season. I'm definitely not. Listen, for those that don't know, who haven't been, Chicago winter, you got to prepare your mind, body, and spirit for. Because literally, the winter, the cold in Chicago, you feel it in your bones. It's not just like you can put all the layers on you want, but it still penetrates the bone. So I wouldn't do anything in the winter. I just wouldn't. Maybe when things warm up, but maybe, just maybe, with the Bulls Summer Festival next year, maybe we'll do a meetup then to get everybody to come out to the Bulls Summer Fest. Maybe we'll do something like rent an Airbnb, let people say who's going to come and actually have to put up their fucking money because black people. But maybe we'll do something like that, either in summer or spring, summer, or the Summer Festival, something like that. May do that with the Windy City Breeze, kind of co-host that. See motherfucking Red Game. I love game night. Hey, it's game day. You already know what it is. Laxus Garza, what I love about this season is in our 6 losses, we only lose 10 plus one time because we fight till the end. Yet we've been in every game but that Cleveland game, basically. In every game but the Cleveland game. How do you feel about the AD to the Bulls? That's bullshit. It's not happening. I'll tell you that right now. It's not happening. St. Louis got some. Oh yeah, especially if you go on the hill. The hill. Oh my Jesus, the food on the hill is magnifique. It's a beautiful, beautiful thing. DeMarcus Cousins wants to help the Kings get back to the playoffs. You think he can? I'm gonna leave that alone. Oh, this man Haize was freaky as hell at bottoms of that. Don't even worry about that. What were you doing when you lived in Germany? I was a kid. So I grew up in Germany, Italy. My parents were in the military. My parents met in the military. My mom got out. My dad stayed in. We were stationed over in Germany. So I was a fucking kid. That's what I was. Do you think Isaiah Thomas could add some shooting to our team? No, we don't need any more guards. We're good on the guards. We're good at that. Chi-Town Javier, Chicago winter, Michigan. Oh, listen. That's why people in Detroit suck so bad. It's dealing with that winter. Sub Haize, it's 8:32 a.m. here in the Philippines, waiting for the game during class. Hey, listen, bro. You got to do what you got to do, man. Haize being the general manager of Pro Sports Arena sounds like a great gig. Fun. Even why you leave, pay no good. I would think very good. The pay was solid. So the reason why I left from doing that is that the hours. So I literally, because I was in management, I would go before the game. So there were times where I would literally wake up. I'd go to work from 6, let's say 6 to 11, 6 to 12. And then I would have to come back for the game. So then I'd be back at the game and I have to be there 2 hours before the game. So if the game was a 7 p.m. game, I would come in at 5 and I'd be there till 12 or midnight. And so with having kids and things like that, it didn't work with my schedule anymore. So I had to go to something with a more strict, straight line schedule because that come in the morning, come back at night shit. Now, in the offseason, it wasn't as bad because we still had events all throughout the offseason and stuff that I have to show up for. But during the season, especially when you're in like the middle of like a 4-game homestand, and I know for the next 4 days, I'm not seeing my family at all. I'm just not seeing you. Don't even worry about it. You're not. If you see me, it's in passing because I'm literally just coming to sleep, but so I can then go back to work that night. It didn't work. It didn't work out. I heard the food on the hill is it was, but now they've started expanding. So what happens historically, years and years and years, the food on the hill was only Italian food. But then what happened is that after, it probably started happening a little before COVID, but it really happened during COVID. Some of the Italian restaurants weren't able to reopen. And so you're finding that other restaurants moved into these older restaurant spot. And so now you're having a variance in food. So it's not just Italian anymore. Them 80 trades was pissing me off. Talk about Vooch, Pat, Terry, AC, and 2 picks. Shit's crazy. So I started to do a video on what was I going to title it? I was going to title it like stupid ass Anthony Davis trade ideas to the Bulls trade ideas or something like that. And I actually recorded. I recorded about half of it. And then halfway through recording, I was like, listen, I'm just eviscerating all this shit. And there's no point in me posting a video where literally it's like, oh, you want Alex Caruso, DeMar, and yeah, that's stupid. That's literally all I was doing. I was like, yep, this is stupid ass motherfucking trade. Bleacher Report is dumb. They're dumb as shit. Why the fuck? Like, that's all the video was. And I was like, you know what? I would either have to do it one or two ways. It would either have to be Petty Roosevelt reads this. That's the video. You just gave me the hook. Petty Roosevelt reads stupid Anthony Davis to the Bulls trade ideas. Look out for that video this weekend. It's coming this weekend. You just gave me, see, listen, that's why I love you guys. You guys just gave it to me. They got a little squad in Sacktown. Throw in Boogie. Playing isn't unrealistic. Kings fans deserve something. Listen, I tell this all the time. The Kings can't get right. The moment that the Kings try to make the playoffs and try to make additions to make themselves a playing team, they're going to be the worst team in the league. The moment they decide, hey, listen, we're not quite there, we're going to start tanking for Victor Wembanyama, they're going to win every game after that. It's just, the Kings can't get right. They literally can't get right. Bro, Chicago winter 4 a.m. I get in my car to go to work. My car won't start because it's so cold and my windshield has an inch of ice. Bruh. Like we used to go, even when we lived in Germany, we would come back stateside for like Christmas break and things and like be in Chicago for Christmas. And all I say is this, man, especially as a kid, when all you understand is I'm cold as shit, somebody save me. Chicago winters are bullshit, bro. Bullshit. Shot Bulls podcast. My cognac boys in this bitch. Who want to bet Utah Jazz have a clearance sale soon? They win. Oh, bro, listen. I'm telling you right now. By the trade deadline, Laurie, Mike Conley, Jordan Crawford, everybody might go. Now the Jazz may very well look at Laurie and say, "All right, yes, Laurie is putting us in a position to win, but if we take everything else around him away." Could we still hold on to Laurie and use him as a building block because he's having a hell of a season? But even then, I still think that the Utah Jazz are eventually going to, like Mike Conley, probably gone. Jordan Clarkson, probably gone. Jared Vanderbilt, they either keep him or Laurie, one of the two. Walker Kessler keeping. Colin Sexton, I think they'll keep for a while too, at least the rest of this season. And then even that, right? Even the people that survived this trade deadline, at the draft, best believe everybody's going too. Everybody's going. I am happy the big man is back because I was about to start to convince people they should play Bradley. Listen, that's crazy, man. I see trade rumors packaging Vucevic and our young guys for picks like AD. Vuce is more valuable than AD right now, to be honest with you all. Yes, agree with that. Make it raw and uncut for members only. Haize, that's funny. Oh, man. Jordan, did I say Jordan Crawford? Jordan Clarkson. That is so funny. Jordan Crawford's going to be in my fucking DMs again. I'm going to have to cuss his ass out again. Jordan Crawford was never a dog. Never. He's never hit him. He scored a bunch of points, but that never translated to wins, ever. Do you think Zach LaVine could be a superstar? Yeah, absolutely. Zach LaVine is already one of the top 3 shooting guards in the league. And the steps that he's making defensively this season, as his scoring comes back and gets back to the level that we expect kind of him, Zach LaVine is about to have a big season. Why do you think Laurie had gotten progressively better the further he gets from Chicago? It seems like young players with the Bulls tend to struggle mentally. Am I wrong? Well, no, he didn't. He got better this season. Last year in Cleveland, he was not better. He was the same player he was his last season in Chicago. He just had a better team around him. But I think Jim Boylan did a lot to affect the confidence of a lot of our young players. It just is what it is. Would you like to see Bulls pursue Jared Vanderbilt? He could be our back. Listen, I love Jared Vanderbilt's game. I love his ability to stretch the floor. It's not like you want Jared Vanderbilt to be out there taking a lot of volume threes, right? You don't want that. But you look at the player, he's 6'9", 214 pounds. He's still only 23 years old. He'll turn 24 by the end of the season. He fits the timeline for the Bulls. But you look at somebody who's effective, 56% from the field goal range, 54% from three-point range. Now, he's only averaging 1 3-pointer per game, but he still can hit that at a decent clip. We know with this team, you're going to get open corner threes if you play the power forward position. He has 8.2 rebounds per game, 3.1 assists per game, and his contract is not – technically, the Bulls could trade Kobe White for Jared Vanderbilt straight up. Technically, they could do that. Now, would they accept that? It depends. If they're trying to tank, they may very well be like, hey, you said Kobe for Jared? We got you. Say less. Deal's done. But I would absolutely take Jared Vanderbilt. Like, I love Derrick Jones Jr. Don't get me wrong. While Jared Vanderbilt is not the athlete that Derrick Jones Jr. was, if you even had to include Derrick Jones Jr. and Kobe White for Jared Vanderbilt, I'm doing that every step of the way because he's a better defensive player. He has way more upside of being only 23 years old. I would do that every step of the way. I love Jared Vanderbilt's game. Love his game. Smear60 says, I'm a better three-point shooter than Caruso. That's funny. Yeah, I mean, yeah, probably, though. In your opinion, Haize, who's the missing piece the Bulls should acquire? I don't know if there's one missing. I don't know if there's one piece. Like, I mean, of course I can think of like superstars to add, but I just don't know if there's one realistic piece that just gets the Bulls over the top. It's going to have to be a mixture of bringing in more talent, but as well as having your players develop. It's going to have to be that. Laurie would fit this team so well right now. Much needed shooting and size, moves well without the ball as well. Well, now he does. Absolutely. Is Victor Wembanyama being overhyped? I think a little bit, right? There's always a little bit to that. A little bit. That still does not mean, like, technically, I'll say this. I think LeBron was a little overhyped just because of his youth, but he lived up to the hype, right? Anytime you have somebody that young that you can say, all right, he's going to be one of the best players in the league, that's just my mindset. I automatically think overhyped. Or I automatically think that. Because I haven't played an actual NBA game yet. But just because he's overhyped does not mean he's not going to live up to the hype. Now, the thing that goes against Victor Wembanyama, in my opinion, is every unicorn that comes into the league, what have they really done, right? Now, you can say Joel Embiid, but when you and Jokic, but when you look at players like Kristaps Porzingis, ended up not doing shit. People don't remember Dragon Bender, who people thought was literally going to be the next Dirk as well. Didn't end up doing shit. And he was a fourth. You talk about a bad fourth overall pick? Go and look up Dragon Bender. That's a bad fourth overall pick. He couldn't even get on the court for his team. Lauri Markkanen was looked at to be a unicorn. Now he's bringing his game around, but I don't know how it's going to work out for Victor Wembanyama, but he could very well live up to all of that. He very well live up to all of it. Chicago Bulls Central, what's your long-term opinion on this Bulls roster? What do you see our roster looking like 3 to 5 years? And do you think a championship is possible within the next 5 years? And that's from Protini X Plays. It's a hell of a name. I think it is, but it's going to have to for the Bulls to be in championship contention next season. Within 5 years, Io and Patrick Williams both have to hit, meaning they both have to develop in a way that is hugely impactful for the team's success. I think the Bulls also would have to go out and get a marquee free agent. Keep in mind that or they would have to draft well. Not in this upcoming draft, but the next draft where the Bulls do have their own first-round pick. That's the rumored first year that they are going to be allowing high school players to come back in the draft. If the Bulls in that draft, keep in mind, so that means you're basically having a double draft. You're going to have the college players that were the one and dones, and then you're going to have a lot of the younger players coming right out of high school come into that draft. If the Bulls hit on that draft and that player ends up being somebody who goes the fuck off, then yes, the Bulls could. It's gonna take some things. I love the Bulls roster overall. I like the mix of the youth that we have on this team, the potential that we have on this team, and the surefire veterans. But somebody's gonna have to develop and hit on that potential for the Bulls to be able to get into that spot. Shy Bulls podcast says Victor Wembanyama going to struggle. Seen Shaq's son lock him up. Not high on basketball playing light poles. See. And I understand that, right? I understand that. Would you trade Cam Reddish for Kobe? No, I would not trade Cam Reddish for Kobe White. Even though Cam Reddish, it seems like he's earned the trust now of Tom Thibodeau, which shout out to him because that's hard to do when Tom Thibodeau starts off not believing in you. But I wouldn't do that. I wouldn't do that, in my opinion. Well, it depends. If they were to take him straight up, then possibly, because I look at Cam Reddish's defensive upside being way higher than Kobe White. So at the bare minimum, I think Cam Reddish could be a very solid defender in the NBA. But I don't know. I'm of two minds with it, right? Because, yeah, in some area, you may lose Kobe White for nothing, and Kobe White may be nothing. But I don't know, man. I go back and forth on this every time this question comes up to me. Victor Wembanyama going to struggle seeing I already read this one. Emmanuel in the building says, I agree with you, Haize. Vanderbilt could be another guy on the roster that could guard players like Giannis, KD, and Tatum. Listen, and we talk about AK. If AK had his perfect roster, it'll be built similar to the Toronto Raptors, meaning that you have players that are tall, long, can play multiple positions, and can guard multiple positions, right? Because this is the difference. There are a lot of players that can play multiple positions but can only guard one position. So having a player like Jared Vanderbilt added to this bench, he can play the 3, he can play the 4, right? Knowing Billy Donovan, he may even play some small ball 5. But then you look at adding Jared Vanderbilt to this team, what that could mean for the defense coming off the bench, right? It could be huge. It could be. I would be ecstatic if if a trade was announced that the Bulls moved Kobe White and Derrick Jones Jr. for Jared Vanderbilt. I would be through the roof on that. Through the fucking roof on it. And I love the way that Derrick Jones Jr. has played for us so far this season. And I was the guy last season saying the Bulls would be crazy to trade Kobe White that season. But at this point where it is now, Kobe is having the worst season of his career statistically, albeit 7 games. But I won't lie, it's some concern. The regression he's shown in some areas is definitely some concerns there. Chi-Town Javier says, with Wembanyama, he has the potential to change the way the league is played. I like the point there. Definitely. The potential to, absolutely. Absolutely. There's an article on Twitter where Laurie explains it I actually talked about that on today's daily episode. There's a couple of things he said in that, like saying that he went from 80 possessions to 40 possessions, saying that he loved, like, it wasn't fun playing basketball anymore being here. Like, I understand all of that. And I think sometimes we think these players are robots and they're not. Ruben in the building. He says, welcome back, Mr. Drummond. Absolutely. Absolutely. All right, y'all. We about 10 minutes away from game time. Little Cam not welcome in Oakland? Wait, what? We don't do city beefs here. What that got to do with basketball? I don't care where he's welcomed at. Got to talk some shit. Jared is a good player, and Ainge don't want good players that help them win as of now. Listen, I wonder, like, what would it take, right? Because you got to think, your team is technically the number 1 team in your conference, if they're still that. And Danny Ainge, like, he's literally sitting there looking like, we're number 1. What the fuck is wrong with you? Like, he's probably literally like, what the fuck is wrong with you? We're not supposed to be winning right now. It's crazy. It's just crazy to think, like, coming into the season, probably wanting to take for Victor Wembanyama, and you wind up with the best team in your conference to start the season, right? I don't think it's going to stay that way at all. I don't think it's going to stay that way. Even if they don't make any moves, I don't think they'll stay the top team in the West. But Lord have mercy, is that team not playing good, man? I've watched, out of the 12 games that they've played or so, I probably watched 5 Utah Jazz games, and every time I watch it, I'm just like, bro, how? What's your thoughts on reports about Isaiah Thomas wanting an apology for Michael Jordan regarding how he was portrayed in love? I love how Isaiah Thomas said, I'm from the west side of Chicago. I can keep this going all day. You think Jordan gives a fuck? Jordan, listen, at this point, Jordan's the owner of the team. That man ain't tripping off no fucking Isaiah Thomas. He can wait for an apology all day long. That shit ain't coming. I can tell you that right now. That shit ain't coming. It is not coming at all. It's not coming. That's it. It's not coming. Haize, do you think Acme has any plans to trade our potential upcoming draft pick? No, because we don't have many upcoming draft picks. I honestly think, looking at this team, right, this team gave away so many draft picks between the Vooch trade, bringing DeMar here. They gave up a lot of first-round picks, 3 between those 2 trades? It's not, I'm telling you right now, they're probably not giving up any more first-round picks unless it's a surefire deal to make this team a championship contender. Meaning, if for some odd reason, I'm going to just throw a name out here. For some odd reason, let's say Giannis Antetokounmpo was like, I'm done in Milwaukee. You guys need to get me the fuck up out of here. The only team I want to go to is Chicago. And then the Milwaukee Bucks called Chicago and was like, listen, we need 4 first-round picks, as many as you can give us that you have available according to the rules over the course of the next 3 years. And we need DeMar, and we need I'm going to say Io in this case. We need all of that. All of that. I don't think AK says no to that deal. I'm telling you that right now. I do not think AK says no to that deal. I don't. But that's not likely to happen. So I don't think that they're going to trade those first round picks. I think they're going to hold on to them. I'm from the West Side. What the fuck that's supposed to mean? Hey, Isaiah Thomas, when he pulled out the I'm from Chicago, I literally, the first thought that came to my mind is like, bruh, have you lived in Chicago any of the last 40 years? I don't think you have, bro. I don't think you have. Oh, I agree, Seantown. Have you? Oh, I agree. That's why I said it would take something like that. Otherwise, I think AK and Eversley are going to continue to try to build through the draft. They're going to continue to try to bring in as much talent as they have, and they're just going to take a look. Are they eventually going to have to move off some of their young talent and some of their draft picks to probably become a championship team? Yes. I do think eventually they will have to, but I don't know if that's coming right now anytime soon. I think they're going to hold on to their picks for the time being. But all right, we are 7 minutes away from game time. We're going to go ahead and shut this down now. I will be back for the halftime hangout. So we got halftime hangout, post-game show, and post-game show over on Locked On Bulls after my post-game show. So I got 3 more episodes to record before the end of today. Thank you for tuning in to Chicago Bulls Central. You guys know I appreciate you so much. Make sure you hit that subscribe. Oh, by the way, before we go, let me refresh and see. I got it because we know we're trying to get to 10,000 subscribers by my birthday and Brandon L. Jet's birthday in December 5th. Right now, we are 11 subscribers away from being at 9,200. If you're not subscribed right now, hit that subscribe button. There are 160 of you in here. I know 11 of you at least got to not be subscribed. Get us to 9,200. By the time I come back to the halftime hangout, I may do a giveaway of some. You know what? If we're at 9,200, by the time I do a halftime hangout, I will give away a Chicago Bulls Central long sleeve tee for the winner. I will give that away. But we got to be at 9,200 by the time I log in to do the halftime hangout. That is 11 subscriptions away. So if you're not subscribed to the channel, subscribe now to get us to 9,200. We need 11 of you guys to subscribe. Go ahead and subscribe. Get on that as we keep trying to get to 10,000 subscribers by me and Brandon's birthday. But that is it for me for right now. I'll see you guys at halftime. Like I like to end everything on. Go Bulls. See red. Don't be red. Love you guys. Peace, y'all.